On October 21st, 2009, 10-year-old Elizabeth Olten was murdered by her friend and neighbor, 15-year-old Alyssa Bustamante. Bustamante, who came from a troubled childhood, had fantasized about killing people. Alyssa lured Elizabeth toward a wooded area near Bustamante's home and proceeded to strangle and stab Olten. Afterwards, she then half-buried the body in a ditch before attending a church service. The brutal murder shocked the small rural community of St. Martin's, Missouri. This is the story of Elizabeth Olten and Alyssa Bustamante. Alyssa Bustamante was born on January 28, 1994, in Cole, Missouri to teenage parents Caesar and Michelle Bustamante. Both parents struggled with substance abuse, with Caesar in prison for drug use and Michelle struggled with constant alcoholism. Alyssa's grandmother, Karen Brooke, was in the delivery room in the hospital and cut the umbilical cord. Both Caesar and Michelle then had 3 other children, 2 boys and a half-brother for Alyssa. Due to the constant drug and alcohol use, both Alyssa's grandparents took her in. Also, both Alyssa's parents divorced and Michelle moved to California. The Bustamantes lived in a trailer, but it is reported that the residents lived in a pigsty. Beer cans were strewn on the floor, and drug paraphernalia was present. The children were described as feral and wild, as they refused to sleep in beds and would punch holes in the wall. During outings at shopping centers, Alyssa would throw temper tantrums, act like a wild animal, and dodge in and out of clothing racks. This was unusual given her older age of 8 and that such behavior was more common for much younger children. In an attempt to give Alyssa a better life, Alyssa's grandparents moved her to St. Martin's, Missouri. St. Martin's is a small, rural town in the middle of the state. In 2010, the population was just slightly above 1,000 people. Despite her troubled upbringing, Alyssa did well in school. She behaved herself and reportedly received good grades. Alyssa even had a few friends. Away from school, however, Alyssa displayed an alternate and troubling personality. She had a social media account where she posted disturbing fantasies about killing people and self-harm. Alyssa had cuts and bruises on her arms and wrists, indicating that she had cut herself. Alyssa also dyed her hair jet black and applied makeup to her face in the form of a clown. She called this alter ego Bad Alyssa. Alyssa also began to display troubling displays toward other people. During high school, Alyssa would bully and abuse other classmates. She uploaded several YouTube videos of her ordering her younger brothers to touch an electric fence to get shocked. The boys kept touching the fence until they became numb to the pain.
YouTube took the video down after Bustamante was charged with murder, but another site posted the video. Bustamante had mixed it with music and posted it showing her grabbing an electric cattle fence. Then urges her little brothers to grab the electrified fence. The public defender's office in Cole County tells me the tape should not have any impact on the case.
In school, Alyssa had told a friend that she wanted to know what it was like to kill someone. In October of 2009, Alyssa Bustamante lived in a small Missouri town of St. Martin's. Just a couple houses down from her was a 9-year-old girl named Elizabeth Olten. Both Bustamante and Olten had become friends and they were both neighbors. They even played together. Bustamante often spent her time in a wooded area next to her home. On October 21st, 2009, Olten left her home to play in the woods with Alyssa. It was the last time she would be seen alive. By 5 o'clock that afternoon, Elizabeth Olten still hadn't come home, and Elizabeth's mother, Patricia Prius, then called the police. The local police and then the FBI got involved in the case. The authorities then contacted Alyssa, who was at a church service at the time. Authorities recovered parts of a diary that Alyssa had created and discovered the violent imagery and writings inside. Investigators then searched Bustamante's home and discovered a grave-shaped depression in Alyssa's backyard. Alyssa said that she liked to dig holes for a hobby. Investigators then found another depression nearby and discovered the dead body of Elizabeth Olten inside. The body was poorly buried under a pile of leaves. Alyssa Bustamante was convicted of the first-degree murder and the death of Elizabeth Olten. The murder of Elizabeth Olten shocked the small rural Missouri town. The case then made national headlines. Prosecutors presented the diary filled with violent and graphic writings. I just fucking killed someone. I strangled them and slit their throat, and then I stabbed them until they were dead. It was amazing. As soon as you get over the, oh my god, I can't do this feeling, it's pretty enjoyable. I'm kinda nervous and shacked right now. K, I gotta go to church right now. LOL. Alyssa Bustamante lured Emily Olten into a secluded area near Bustamante's home. Alyssa then strangled Olten before slitting her throat and then stabbed her in the back. Alyssa then slit Elizabeth's throat before Bustamante buried the body under a pile of leaves. Elizabeth Olten was just 9 years old when she was killed. The defense tried to plead leniency for Bustamante due to the troubled childhood she had. However, Alyssa was tried as an adult. In 2012, Alyssa accepted a plea deal for a lesser charge of second-degree murder to avoid the death penalty. Bustamante would then be eligible for parole after 30 years in prison. In 2014, a new law proposed by the United States Supreme Court mandated a different standard for dealing with juveniles and first-degree murder, this being that Alyssa wouldn't have received a life sentence for her crimes. In 2014, Bustamante tried to appeal for a new case, but her appeal was denied. Alyssa Bustamante was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of having a conditional release date of 2024 after spending a consecutive of 30 years in prison. Elizabeth Olten's father could not attend his daughter's burial because he was incarcerated. Alyssa Bustamante's situation has been studied by mental health experts due to her incredibly difficult upbringing and how it influenced her mental health and how she interacted with greater society. Doctors have testified that she has suffered from major personality disorder and bipolar disorder.